In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call them, and why they, I think, are a fantastic buy right now. So currently, they are in a little bit of a pullback, and they're kind of making their way back, but it's kind of interesting. They have all of this negativity. I personally hate Facebook with a passion as a platform because they're just absolutely useless when it comes to customer support. However, what are they really doing? When we really look at Facebook as a business or just as a thing in general, people literally cannot live without it. Many businesses need Facebook to operate to be able to actually do business. For example, car dealerships, it's absolutely massive. Real estate agents, huge. Massive platforms that sell a lot of cars, that sell a lot of houses, and it's pretty much free, sort of. But anyways, why is it such a strong platform? Well, the future is that new Web 3.0 that you've probably been hearing, the new metaverse, basically Ready Player One. And it's quite interesting. Will we be living in a so-called Ready Player One universe anytime soon? Probably not. I really doubt it's going to happen over the next 10 years. I personally think it's like 50 years off. But it is still interesting to think about. If you're looking at Facebook as a long-term investment, then it's interesting because of that. But if you're looking at it as an investment that will pay you, the only way it can pay you is if they make more money, and currently they might be able to make a little bit more money when it comes to advertisement optimization, but that's even starting to get kind of trailed off a bit because of what Apple's done, what Android might be doing soon. It's kind of interesting in those stances. However, let's check it out as a stock. Their PE ratio is no longer crazy. It's 24.8, and that seems to be pretty well in line with the S&P 500. However, when we start looking at the volume, we can see that it's around 20 million shares traded every single day, and its beta isn't exactly crazy anymore either. So why would we even buy it if it's not a dividend stock, if we're dividend investors? Well, it's the growth potential, at least in the near term. In the near term, it's had a pretty sizable pullback, and when it comes to the MACD, it's starting to kind of come together and, of course, converge, which means that there's some upswing coming kind of soon. We can see that the MACD kind of bounces off the line a few times, and it kind of has a nice, strong trajectory. Negative news, negative news, negative news, and then always recovers afterwards. So when we're looking at a potential, at least near-term growth, we've got it. Long-term growth over maybe 20, 30, 40 years, we potentially have it. But if you're looking at it as something to pay yourself, it's just not going to do that if you're a dividend investor. We can also see that the trading volumes have also dwindled from way back in the day as well. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Well, it makes it a little bit more of a consistent stock. It's not going to have crazy ups and downs as we kind of seen in the early days, even though when we're looking at it as a zoomed out chart over many, many years, we don't see the crazy ups and downs. However, we have to remember that it basically came on as a $38 stock. It popped to 42 and then it dipped down below 20. And that's 50% of your money gone. So yes, it was a very, very volatile stock. However, in the long term, now with the volumes getting lesser and lesser, it's starting to become less volatile, but still having these massive negative news drops. And I'm going to say this right now, anytime that there's negative news in a company and you kind of have the feeling that the company just doesn't give a crap about any of the negativity that's going towards it, you kind of have to remember that, hey, they're just going to get through it. The stock's going to forget about it. The news cycle's going to forget about it, and it's just going to recover, and that's what happens. We even see that with politics. Everyone hates the liberals right now. Everybody. And yet, here we are. We just recently voted them back in. It's one of those cycles that we just continue to have. So That's just how stocks move when they're very volatile. For example, Tesla's another one where they have a negative news cycle where there's a car crash. Or China says that, oh, we don't like them, they're spying on us. And then it just kind of disappears and the stock recovers. It's one of those things. Anytime that there's any massive negative news, wait a day or two. If there's nothing any more crazy stuff coming out on it, you just buy the negative news because it's going to recover. People forget, and then the news cycle is just on to something else and something new. Unlike COVID, which just tends to stick around in the news just forever and ever and ever. Now my question is can they keep this revenue growth? It's actually pretty steady, as we can see, and they're also growing the earnings, which is huge. Can this continue? I don't know. How much can they optimize ads? Because there's not really massive growth in users anymore. But how much can they optimize ads to be able to continue with those earnings? So that is obviously one thing, is ability to optimize ads to make as much money as possible. The other aspect of that is, yes, they may not be able to completely target customers as much as they used to because of what Apple's doing and different government regulations are doing. It's getting tougher for them. However, if they can continue to grow the amount of customers, as in not you as a user, but you as a business owner to spend money on their platform, because basically the world revolves these days around Facebook, then at that point they're going to continue that revenue growth until they start making these physical stores with these VR and AR glasses that there's going to be a lot of people upset about, and then there's going to be more negative news, and then eventually it's going to recover when everyone says, oh wow, 500 million people bought those glasses in the first month alone. That's what's probably gonna happen. Anyways, these are my thoughts on Facebook and on Meta. What's your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you guys again next time.